Yes, people, welcome along to episode 7 of the Patriot Game podcast, where I'm joined as usual by Martino with Edinburgh, Conley City, and Pearson, Conley Second City, Dublin. We're absolutely delighted today to be joined by a sporting superstar with an illustrious amateur career that culminated in ranking number 1 with the AIBA, an Olympian and gold medalist at both European and World Championships. After cementing his name in Irish amateur boxing folklore, he took a step to the pro game, marking his debut at Madison Square Garden. Currently 14-0 and in camp preparing for his upcoming fight on the 1st of May. Ladies and gentlemen, West Belfast very own Michael Conlan. Mick, I need that eye down at that introduction, mate. How's things going?
I know. That was a long one, wasn't it? Fucking hell.
Jesus, mate.
I know. Nah, it's all good, mate. All good. Pleasure to be on with you boys. Good Celtic, man. So it's always a pleasure.
100%, mate. And again, you're obviously in the middle of training camp. So thank you very much for coming on and spurring your time, mate. Really appreciate it. So how's things going with training? How's everything going? Are we right or rack for May 1st?
Pretty rock, mate. You know, I've had a fantastic training camp. Obviously, it's my first fight back down at 122. So, you know, I've had to do a good bit of work throughout this camp to make sure I make the weight comfortably and healthily. And I've done that. So we're almost there. Sparring's been fantastic. I feel like I'm punching 3-4 times as hard as what I was before. I feel I'm physically stronger than I was before. So all in all, it's been a very, very good camp. So I'm really happy.
You fought in the amateurs and you were just I'm just going to start off here and just go full scale fanboy. Yeah. I watched a lot of your fights and all that sort of stuff, and obviously the pinnacle was the Olympics, and you were absolutely robbed. Did you just feel disillusioned by amateur boxing at the step when you went into the program? Did you just think that I've done enough in it anyway, but it's just because it was corrupt to the core?
Nah, listen, I was always going to make the move after, you know, Rio and you know, what better pedestal to jump off, getting robbed the way I was robbed and being so fucking known worldwide because of that, other than winning the gold medal. You know what I mean? That was probably the best way to kind of go into the competition. So I was disillusioned with the amateur system for a long time, and you know, there's been numpteen, you know, bad decisions that went against me, which I know it shouldn't have went against me, and you know, there's nothing you could really do about it. But the reason I reacted and done everything I did was because I knew it was my last time doing it, and I knew there was no kind of comeback, even though they tried to pay me like £10,000 and stuff. I was like, go fuck yourselves, you're never getting nothing off me. But like I was always going to make the jump. Like, so it wasn't like it was that because of what happened, I turned over. It was going to happen anyway.
Can you remember doing the finger up when you get robbed?
I had that plan. I had that plan for like a time before. So when I actually qualified for the 2016 Olympics, they tried to screw me twice in 2 fights, one in Azerbaijan and one in Kazakhstan, and they almost messed up my qualification. And I had my last fight, which I needed to win, which was in Venezuela against a Venezuelan, and I needed to win that, but I also needed one of the guys who ended up getting the decision against me, who was a good fighter, to lose against a guy who had stopped. And I was like, there's no way it's happening. He'll beat him. Should beat him handily. He ended up getting beat, and I ended up qualifying. But at the end of that fight, my plan was just to go, fuck you to the judges and go pro. I'm not even going to try and qualify for Olympics now, because I thought they had screwed me over. But because I ended up getting into the fight with the wrong attitude, where I went in thinking, I said to my dad the night before, I'm just going to try and knock this guy out. I don't go, fuck boxing. And he's like, no, dude, that's the wrong way to do it. But I ended up going in with attitude and made the fight very hard. And I won the fight, but the crowd in Venezuela was like in the middle of like a ghetto, and it was like favelas everywhere, but we're in this big arena. It was just all the kind of street kids and street people all in there, and they're all like singing Venezuela, Venezuela. And it was amazing. It was just an unbelievable experience. So instead of like just giving the fingers to the judges and fucking off, I just clapped the crowd and then ended up qualifying. So it was probably meant to happen that way. So I was lucky I didn't do it.
I think just wondered, for like I'm just a casual kind of fan of boxing, how bad is amateur boxing for being corrupt and rigged?
Listen, it's been corrupt for many, many years, way before me. So, you know, it's a big mob. You know what I mean? It is a big mob. Eve is a mob, and they've been able to control and have a monopoly over amateur boxing for a long, long time. And they pull the strings, and it's the corruption and what I heard about what even my own fight and stuff and how all that was kind of dealt with is very, very deep, very deep. And there's is that deep. There's fuck all I could do about it. There's fuck all anybody else could do about it, and it's massive. So it's something that I don't think we'll ever leave. It's like every sport. There's always at the head of it. There's always kind of parts of corruption.
So, would even Irish boxing be corrupt at like a national level?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. Probably. I never experienced it myself at home, but I wouldn't be surprised if judges were taking backhanders. It wouldn't surprise me because the whole world is rigged. Never mind the game.
Absolutely. For me, my biggest the person I looked up to most in boxing, and I watch it quite a lot, was Joe Calzaghe. Probably the two fights that cemented him was Lacey and Hopkins. He was just powerful, just a phenomenal fighter. Who do you look up to most in the sport? Is there anyone that you look at and think that's the sort of direction I want to go in? Like,
I love the way Joe done it. I do love the way Joe done it. The way you mentioned Joe, I actually speak to him a lot, and he messaged me a lot, and it's like I'm starstruck every time he messages you. Like, he's messaged me. I think it was after one of the Commonwealth Games. He's like, I'm a massive fan, and I was like, fuck me, Joe Calzaghe's messaging me. Yeah, this is mental. But he's a really nice guy, and obviously, he went out undefeated. So it's the way everybody wants to kind of get into the sport, and 99.9% of people do not get into the sport that way. So you gotta look at Joe with a lot of admiration. But if there was someone who I looked up to throughout my career in boxing, was always my big brother. Just because how he was as a person and how he was in the ring, he was very honest, very, very honest person in the ring. He obviously never achieved what he wanted to achieve in being world champion, but he never ever bowed out without a fight. And I think that says a lot about him as a person. He never give up, and that's the way you should be. You should never give up. You should always keep pushing on while you still can, fight to your damn breath kind of thing. But I don't condemn fucking people down in the ring or anything. I'm just saying, like, fight with all your heart and keep pushing on.
It's safe to say that Jamie was never involved in any born fights. He left everything out there, and there was always blood and excitement, and the crowd absolutely loved it. Loved it.
I hated it.
I'm sure.
I watched it. I hated it because I know the actual talent he had and the boxing ability he had, which he never ever used. He always just kind of balls to the wall, let's go to war kind of thing. And I admire him for his heart and his bravery, but sometimes I want to slap him for his stupidity when he was getting involved in shit which he didn't need to get involved in. But he was someone who I've looked up to through my whole career in sport and in life. So if there was a boxer I looked up to, it was him. But if it was someone who, in terms of achievement ways and stuff, it has to be Manny Pacquiao. Just how he was as a human being, as a person outside of the ring, and what he does for the people of his country, and how much of an icon he is. And then, obviously his style is just so exciting to watch.
Unreal. And then, Mick, just going back to the very beginning, growing up in West Belfast, were you forced to go into boxing? What made you get involved in the sport?
My older brothers, they kind of got brought to the gym. It was first one of my brothers, Brendan. He wanted to go to the gym first. He wanted to go boxing, and Jamie got forced to go along with Brendan. He didn't want to box. He wanted to play football. He played for Celtic boys, and then he ended up going to the gym with Brendan. And he got involved in boxing, and because I looked up to them too, I just wanted to do what they were doing. So I kept following to the gym. I was too young, but I kept going. And then I was in the gym for a while, and the coach at the time says I was too young, so I had to leave. So I was devastated, cried my eyes out, and ended up joining a Clonard Boxing Club. And that's where it all kind of started for me, really. Started off there, and then obviously when I had a few fights, and the coach who told me that I had to leave because I was too young had seen me and says, we need to get him back. And my older brothers were there, so I ended up going back. But it was my older brothers was the reason I wanted to be in boxing, because I just wanted to be like them. And I think that if if they had stopped boxing, if Jamie had stopped boxing, say 16, 17, even 18, I probably would have stopped boxing. Because I just wanted to be like him. I can curb anything else.
And it shows you how close you are as a family and stuff, mate. That's a credit to you. Just getting involved with a boxing, and when you started off, when you were training away for the first couple of months, the first couple of years, did you know that you had a chance of like that you were going to?
I knew. Like I know it sounds like cocky and like a dickhead and all, but I knew I was good from day one. Like I'll be honest. Like my first year in competing and stuff, I won everything you could win. I won the All-Irelands, I won the Ulsters, I won the Antrams, I won all the novice competitions as well, and I went undefeated. And I kind of had a big head then, and kind of thought it was better than what it was, and kind of got brought down a few levels the next year with just losing in the finals of the All-Irelands. That was the only loss I had, my first loss. But yeah, from the start, it was just something I loved to do. Because when they started boxing, we started to watch boxing more and more. We always watched boxing. My dad always watched boxing. And like Prince Nassim, my whole family hated Prince Nassim because he's cocky and he's arrogant, and being Irish, that's completely the opposite of what you're probably perceived to be or should be. But I loved just the entertainment. I loved how entertainment, how like mad he was and doing all that mad ring walk shit. So, and sticking his tongue out. And also when I was really 6, 7, 8, 9, when I was doing all the sparring, I was doing that in the ring against the bigger kids and making them miss, making them pay, and laughing at them and just being a wee asshole. But it worked, and it kind of helped me kind of learn boxing very, very easy and get used to the hitting and not being hit. And I actually, Prince Nazim was a big idol of mine for a long time. Then I realized when I kind of get a bit older that he's probably a bit of an arrogant prick, but still you can't deny his talent.
Oh, he was some fighter. You need that self-belief as well. He got found out in America, but he was never shy of a challenge. Unbelievably gifted fighter. There's one young lad now, Dennis the Menace. He's got a wee bit of swagger, a wee bit of sort of Prince Nazim. But you were talking about ring walks there, and you've become synonymous for the way that you've entered the ring. And I'm a massive fan of the songbook you've been playing. What was the thinking behind that when you were? I don't know if you picked the tunes, but some of the tunes you're coming out are powerful.
Listen, for me, obviously, watching all the Nas ring walks and stuff, it was probably one of the things that made me fall in love with boxing. And every ring walk I've done, I've probably been the mastermind behind, and I've picked all the ring walks, the musics, and when I'm meant to walk at this stage and that stage. I'm like, and if you look at the garden as well, when I come out in the garden, I come from the top. No one had ever done that before I'd done it.
Yeah.
And it was I had said no, I don't want a short ring walk. I want a long ring walk here, and I want to walk from the top. So, the ring walks are something that I love. Something I've always kind of I've loved to do with boxing. It's the show before the show, and it was something that I always wanted to make sure I done well. Have a good ring walk, and I think I always commit to grace. In these fights, what I've been fighting in this pandemic, the last one I had and the one I have now, you can't really come out to grace because there's no fans to sing along. You need fans. You need fans for grace. But it's a special song to come out to, and you can see how passionate the fans get. And especially being Irish, you have to kind of play to your audience. I know what my fan base like. I know what they want to hear, and I'm not a silly person. I do things tactically, and my choices of music are tactically for my fans.
Unbelievable. Wow. That night you made your debut in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you love that picture. You love that picture, lad. I'm telling you. Fuck me.
Listen, I'm not saying that I have it.
The fame.
I'm not saying I have it hung up in my room, like, or thinking about getting a tattoo or anything like that.
On the day.
That night, mate. That night, and not just because you're on the episode here, but like it was like you were in West Belfast. Like obviously you walked out to the ring with Conor McGregor and the tricolour. The atmosphere at night was like unbelievable. The only thing that I would say would come close to it would be being in the middle of the Green Brigade at a Celtic game. So when you walk out there, you're walking out, Conor McGregor is at the back of you, the tricolour is at the back of you, all your fans are in front of you. What's that feeling like? Is that something that you always want to do growing up?
You know
like,
what?
Experience
So,
it?
see, before it, like, I not gonna lie, I shaped myself before I even walked. It's my fucking debut. Then going, fuck me, what happens? What happens if you lose here? Like, you know what I mean? There's like fucking thousands of came to see you, and no matter what any fighter says, and they don't get nervous and all this, you'll be fucking shitting yourself no matter what. But as soon as the doors opened and I seen everybody, I swear to God, it was like bang, I'm at home. It felt so comfortable. I felt like this is what it's meant to be. And I walked out there and like that, you're right, that atmosphere and near every St. Paddy's Day and every kind of big fight I've had, the atmosphere has been unbelievable. And you won't get them type of atmospheres at most world title fights. You know what I mean? They're a special type of atmosphere, and I think that comes with being Irish and having a kind of fan base, which I have. I don't think many fighters in the world will ever experience that. So, you know, it was special. See, walking out there and we were seeing his faces. Everybody kind of knew, like, fuck me, I'm going to fight here. Like, so I was like, it was the debut. It was just like, I want to get this done right away, quick, so I can fucking just put this behind me because this is mad. This is crazy. But when you walk out there and the fans are in, especially in the garden, right before I start the ring walk, I'm fucking shitting myself. And then when I start walking, I'm good. And that's me. I'm at home.
What would you be like on the day of a fight when you get up? Are you okay with the wait, or do you just want it to happen? Like, would you fight at 10 o'clock in the morning if you could?
As the day of the fight, I'm all right. And then when it hits lunchtime, I'm like, fuck me, I just want to close my eyes and be tomorrow morning. I've already won. Like, I'll be honest, like, I hate people who lie about things, I guess, and say, like, I love it what's here. They probably do, but for me, I at lunchtime, I fucking hate it. I hate it. It's like, get it done. Just let me wake up when it's tomorrow morning. But and then the rest of the day, I'm all right. You know what I mean? It's no problem. When I'm in the change room, I'm fucking buzzing. I can't wait to go. I just want to take heads off. Obviously, before you ring walk, that nerves is there. But then once you walk, you're good. But like, it's just the anticipation, isn't it? It's the anticipation and being able to manage that in the correct way. A lot of people don't. A lot of people fold under that type of pressure, but I've done it so many times that I'm never going to fold. You know what I mean? It's never going to get to me. And you know, you hear Mayweather saying about it all the time about like when the opponents when they get under the lights and stuff, and you know they experience the big nights. I've been under the lights from day one. You know what I mean? It hasn't been like I haven't experienced them big nights and them big lights, and you know it's something that having all these big fights in the past and big atmospheres will stand me in good stead when I do fight for the belt. So I do hate lunchtime on fight day, but other than that, everything's good.
I've been watching your training camp, and your training looks frightening. You're saying that you're punching harder, you're feeling stronger. You were saying that you were wanting to take the head off him. You tuck him away, you get through, I would say, probably your hardest test yet. You go 15-0, hopefully 9 knockouts. What's after that? Wait, how long until you wrap it, and then you got any sort of targets you would like to?
No, so it should be next. It should be next. I should be fighting for the WO belt next, but for some reason, well, I know why. The PBC, who Stephen Fulton, the WO champion, is with, are trying to kind of tie up the belt a bit. The belt which I'll be mandatory for after this. So the mandatory period started after his last fight, which was December, I think, January, December time. So it should end kind of after September, but they'll tie that fight up, and I think he'll probably fight September 11, and hopefully I'll fight December time. I'll put it out there right after this fight. Once I take this guy out, that why not do it in August? Let's do it in August. Let's do it in West Belfast in August. We can go to the Fela. It's the Fela have released dates that, you know, we're going to be having a show. I know that my brother and my team have already been speaking about making the Fela happen again this year, and the talks will intensify after this fight. But until then, we got to keep the lid on.
Fair play to you. Rest assured that the Patriot game will be straight in for 3 ringsides.
100%.
Make it a photo again with my big face on it. You walking there. With this guy that you're fading, Mick Baluta, he obviously took out David Oliver Joyce.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts going into it? What way are we going to do it?
I'm gonna take a head clean off his shoulders. And I haven't said that much. I haven't said that much throughout my whole career because I just focus on winning. I don't care how I win. And if people think it's boring, so fuck. If people think it's exciting, so fuck. I don't care either way. As long as I win is all that matters to me at the end of the day. But this time, like, something feels different. As I said, I feel like I'm punching much harder. I feel like I just have a bit more between my teeth. We're back. So I just feel this time is different because obviously I feel I'm punching much harder. The closer I'm getting to my weight, the angrier and more pain I want to cause on this guy. I feel stronger. I feel physically bigger. I'm hurting people more in sparring. I kind of have that belief back in my power, and I just feel that. I feel I'll take his head off his shoulders. He's beat two Irish guys. TJ Donaghy, former world champion. David Oliver Joyce, former Olympic teammate of mine. And, I want to go out there and, set the record straight that, you're not fucking around. We're not fucking around here. I'm not those guys. It's different. This is completely different. So I'll show that and I'll be excited to do it next week.
100%, mate. 100%. So just talking about that night in the park and obviously walking out with the famous song. What's the ring walk this time? Obviously, there's not going to be any fans there. So have you got a special one?
The same one as last time. I came out the old Russian of her Walla by Shaylin. So it's a shorter version, a more kind of upbeat tempo, modern version of it, and it's fantastic. Got the war drums and everything in there. So that'll be the one I'll come out to this time.
With it being a Celtic podcast, Mick, what's the chances you're walking out with a Celtic top on, mate?
I think you have to pay $5,000 every day or 500 quid or something to wear Celtic or any wear a football kit or put football kit in your stuff.
Okay.
No, I have my ring kit and stuff and all sorted. So
unreal.
Unless I think it'll be guaranteed a fight at Celtic Park, I can't wear a Celtic top until that happens.
Is that out of the question, Mick?
No, it's not. That would be an amazing possibility. Just need to get a good Scottish opponent, don't they? You know what I mean? A good Rangers fan fight them in Celtic Park.
There's a few tasty Scottish boxers, and now there's obviously the show coming up with Taylor and all that sort of stuff. He's absolutely flying. Lee McGregor, but Celtic Park, imagine that, 60,000, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Taking it back to football for a wee second, did you grow up a Celtic fan as a young lad? You were your brother.
If you ask me, if you come from West Belfast, there's only one team you really do support when you start growing up, and it's Celtic. And then if you support anybody else, it's that team and Celtic. You know what I mean? It's you never don't support Celtic when you come from West Belfast. And I've always been a Celtic fan and always will be a Celtic fan. It's like when Celtic play, it's like your own country playing. You know what I mean? That's what it feels to me. It feels like and your nation playing, not just a club team. It's national pride, and something that is always close.
I'm gonna have to ask you about it, Mick. Just over Madison Celtic, mate. What do you think of this season? Everything that's went on.
Is there a season? Has there been a season? I don't watch football.
I'm not too sure.
I don't watch football. I haven't watched football season, so I don't know how anything's going. But
that is the best answer I've heard, mate.
It's I only realised that Celtic play Rangers again next Sunday, and I'm like, fuck me, why?
Yeah.
Why? Please, just put it at the end of the season. Put a bed date.
Your mural around the corner was defaced with a Scottish team's trophy. I don't know if you heard about this, so you got any WhatsApps about it. But I got out of the car, mate. I done the bit, scraped it off. Know what I mean? What I look like, top fanboy.
Where did they do at the boss?
They said at Cavendish Street.
What did he spray?
Said it shop.
Bastards.
We trophy, you know what I mean? Over your face, mate. Can't be having that, know what I mean? Not about here.
Fun scumbags.
I know. But mate, just Stephen Fulton, fella,
Yeah.
Is that it?
That would be the
That's
dream
it?
come true. That would be the dream. Whether or not it happens, I don't know. If it doesn't happen, we'll happen in a good fight anyway. I'll be straight back in the training camp after this fight. I'll take a few weeks at home, still train, and then get back over here to the UK and get training again over here, get back to business. And I'm excited. It's an exciting few months coming up, exciting year coming up. We're in the midst of it now, and next week we start it off, we get the ball rolling and get that title trail on fast.
Mick, just a question, because you don't obviously get to talk to a superstar every day. See, after you came back from the Olympics and you'd won the bronze medal, is it hard to adjust to everyone knowing who you are, not just people in the boxing community?
Oh, it was fucking crazy. It was crazy. You're from Dublin, obviously, so like you've been the Coppers and all that. Like if I go to Coppers, even now, like it's fucking mental. Like even then, when I just won a bronze medal, and I was 19, 20, like it was like you were a Premier League footballer. It was fucking unbelievable. I was like walking around thinking I was Ronaldo. You know what I mean? It was like anything you wanted to do, anybody you wanted to see. It's like easy, fucking easy pickings right there. Like it was fucking mental. It was mental. Everybody knew you, especially all the little fucking from all the culty towns and all that there down I got away here all there in university. You know what I mean? They're like, "Fuck me, this is fucking Michael Conlan." I was like, "Who the fuck am I?" You know what I mean? Really? It was crazy. It was mental. It wasn't hard to get used to. I kind of took it in straight, and I kind of had seen it with Paddy anyway, because like anywhere I went with Paddy, it was a fucking melt because he was just getting hounded for pictures and autographs, and you couldn't do them. So that kind of gave me an inkling of what it would be like. And then when it happened, obviously it was mental, and it's unbelievable. Like I could go out in Dublin and not be able to move with people getting pictures and autographs and all that there. But if I went out in Belfast, not like very few people would even come to say hello to you. Like, you know what I mean? It's completely different. To see how big I was, or how big I probably am in the south compared to even how big I am in the north. It's madness.
Paddy Barnes, Tommy McCarthy, and Sean McComb.
Mental.
There must be some stories, mate. What's your funniest memory of training with lads?
I think probably the one for most people will be the Belfast boys. No one would done the shirt of the Joyces. Fuck, we got in some trouble for that, like with the Irish squad and all. They were get that down and all, but it was already up. We'd sent it out there. So we went back and forth for below the videos with Emmons, but you only ever see the one. Like, so it was loads of times. I can't pinpoint one, but it was some really, really good times together. Like,
I was just going to say the other night, see what Pierce was touching on. I watched your video with big, I think it was Coogan Cassius, IFL TV. Yeah. You were walking about, was it your man street you were walking about? Aye. And all the lads are coming over asking about your watch and everything like that.
Fuck's sake,
I would think the same, like if you were a football player, like a young lad like Tierney or something like that, you come from a working class area, a very normal, grounded young lad, you become amazing at your sport, and everyone's wanting a pound of your flesh. Everyone's want to have your time. And does it take time to adjust, or do you just cope with it because it's just the way it is?
I'll be honest, it's not even like that. It's not as bad as that in the West. Like, I can walk about the place. People say, "Oh, do you get a picture? No problem." It's like, you're not tortured. People are kind of understanding, and maybe half shy at the same time, where they're going, "Fuck, I'm not going to say hello to him. I don't want to get a picture. I look like a dickhead," but like. They probably do, but they don't want to because they don't want to look a certain type of way. But it's West Belfast. Like, everybody knows everybody. It's a very welcoming place, and somewhere I've grew up. So it feels handy enough still. I probably haven't hit that mega superstar status where you're not able to do anything. But if you even look at the likes of Carl Frampton, he's able to walk about the place, no problem. He gets sassed for pictures, but he doesn't get melted. So it's sound.
It's a testament to this place as well, Mick, with like you just mentioned there. Do you think that's with that upbringing and coming from West Belfast that it sort of kept you on your feet and kept you humble?
Definitely. I think when you come from those kind of areas and you grow up in surrounds which I grew up in, and you grew up in yourself, you have to have a bit of, humbleness and respect for yourself and for others, because you see what people are going through on a daily basis, which, the majority of people probably don't even know. There's a lot going on, a lot of, poverty in the area where you grew up and obviously kind of sort of say get out of and moved out of and kind of are doing well for yourself, but people are still, find it very hard to get by from day to day life. So you gotta be humble. You can't be a dickhead who flaunts things in people's faces and just thinks he's bigger than what he is, and it's not what I am. I'm a working class kid, and I'll always have a working class kind of mentality around things like that. I'm not an egotistical maniac. So I think in sport, there's an awful lot of people whose egos just fucking run riot. And one thing I know is if my ego started to run riot, my dad would beat the fucking clean out of me. So I can't be that type of kid.
Unreal. And again, Mick, just to finish up the episode, mate, we always ask a couple of questions each. So my first question for you, with that obviously being a Celtic podcast and you being a Celtic fan from West Belfast, who was your favourite ever Celtic player?
It's the easiest question in the world to answer. I think everybody in this picture right now will say the same as King Henrik. He's the king of kings, and what a guy. Absolute legend. I wish he could be back right now. I wish he could be their manager or doing something, being part of the club, because we need someone with his leadership and his excellence to be a part of the club again.
100%. And then, like we mentioned about Celtic Park, and have you been to many games? And if you have been, what's your favourite experience?
Yeah, I've been to a few. When you're there and you're hearing grace and stuff being sang, that you look at men around you and they look like they're going to cry. That experience alone at the games is unbelievable. When you hear them songs being sang, and it just strikes chords in your heart. And especially being an Irishman, hearing all the Irish songs and in basically Ireland, Celtic Park's basically Ireland. So it's special.
Absolutely is.
It's special.
100%. And then finally, mate, we all know that you love your Rebel tunes. What's your favourite Rebel song?
The hard one. I was thinking about this the other day. People would always expect me to say Grace, but I don't think I will. I love, maybe not so much the Rebel tune, but I just love Christy Moore, Ordinary Man. Special tune. It just reminds me, when I was living in LA, it was a song I always played, or else Missing You by Christy Moore. Songs I always just sat and played because it just means you home so much.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Mick, you're in the middle of your training camp. You've got a big, massive fight coming up, which no doubt you're going to win. You're going to take this man's head off, like you've said. We really value you coming on this, mate, giving us your time. It's been absolutely fantastic, and it'd be great. We'll get you up to Celtic Park one time. Martino down there will sort you out with a couple of tickets.
Yeah.
No bother.
Couple of standing tickets. And yes.
We'll meet you in the Squirrel for a pint when you're over here, and then we'll meet you in the Watermelon when we're over in Belfast for a wee pint.
100%. That will get that sorted, definitely.
Listen, best of luck with the fight, mate. And
yes, boys.
We'll be watching. Good luck, mate.
Good stuff. Cheers, lads.
Thank you very much, mate.
All the best.
Bye-bye.